Detective Comics 954, James Tynion the fourth. Yeah,
I'm still saying Tynion.
we learned from Snyder, and Marcio Takara on art. This is. Do you know what's funny? I always read the books in Wednesday, sometimes some in Thursday, some will spill over depending. Or if I'm busy, maybe it'll be longer. But typically, I'll read them in the Wednesday, Thursday, and then we get to Saturday, and I'll skim through them again to refresh my memory and just sort of get a better hold. This is one that went up for me when I read it the second time.
Oh, look at that.
Not that it was bad before, but it was very like middle of the arc. A lot of what felt like exposition when the first time I read it.
It was, and it's with Tynion and him writing Raish, however you want
Matt
to say
just
it.
don't get. I love how he says Tynion, and then he talks about is it Raz or Raze? I need to get this right.
Well, because I was waiting for Connor to correct me like he always does.
I have never corrected anyone on this show about Raz or Raish.
I'm glad you added that about Raz or Rage because
Yeah.
Because you have
specifically.
off
I have. Yeah. I think I may have done off. Sure.
His monologuing. I was just like reading this at 4:30 in the morning on a Wednesday. Did not help because
goes on a bit, doesn't he?
and he's very obtuse, and the way that he talks. I get that Tynion wants to give him his own voice, and I appreciate that, but man, his syntax was weird.
So I'll sum up what went down in this issue. So Raj is in the Batcave, that was from the last issue, and him and Batman basically argue and debate. There's like a laser cage at one point and whatnot, but the gist of it is that Raj reveals that Batman did know about the League of Shadows. He's actually found out about them multiple times, and each time Raz has had to erase his memory of the League of Shadows, and it kept not taking. It kept working a little bit, but Batman would still kind of like fight his way back and get to it, and then he reveals that the last time to make it work, he got a trick from an old friend that Batman's met, and he then says backwards, "Remember the shadows." Implying that the old friend in question, which also ties into Wiping's Batman's memory from previous DC stories, is Zatanna.
Now, you say that, and I feel that that's what they want us to believe.
You think it's a
swerve. I feel there's a swerve, and I feel it's not going to be Zatanna, but it's going to be her father.
I can see that, yeah. Because it's Raz, yeah, I can totally buy that.
It seems more likely.
Although, if this is how we get introduced to Zatanna, and you start adding in that kind of stuff with the League of Shadows and Assassins, and that'd be cool. I'm definitely for that.
Yeah. I love the page where he was talking about, the 3 times he remembered. You have the classic images.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, one's from like Birth of the Demon and all that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's cool. So that stuff is fine. Meanwhile, you have Kane in the cell, and he's like banging, trying to punch his way out, and then the colonies show up and let him and his comrades out. And Ulysses, the little shit, looks like he's going to steal Red Robin's outfit. Tim, because he was eyeing it up.
That upset me
before he left.
It's like you do not disrespect Tim's memory. Damn it, he's not dead, but do not disrespect him.
They don't know that though.
Exactly.
Yeah, they think he's dead. So
in Ulysses, we've seen him do some messed up stuff already. So of course he's going to steal it.
Yeah. Obviously, Shiva shows up and all the rest of it. My favorite part of this issue, though, by far, is the ending.
Oh, that final page is fantastic.
It's the build up to the final page and then the final page itself, because basically the colony find out where they are, where the League of Shadows are, and what was his face? Colony Prime's being all macho and being like, "Oh, let's go down and take them. We know where they are." And Admiral Kane's like, "No, like you have struggled. We have all struggled fighting just like a couple of these things. There's hundreds of these bastards down here."
He says, you could fight one of them and win, maybe a handful at a time, but fight all of them at once.
Yeah, I couldn't do it. You couldn't do it. Batwoman couldn't do it. Batman couldn't do it. Who could? And then you turn the page, and there she is. Cassandra Cain is there for blood.
And it's all the bodies just around her.
They're doing such a good job this arc of making her feel like a complete and utter badass.
Well, and I feel like shedding a lot of the other characters, Tim, and then spoiler, it really put her at a forefront because it's her and Clayface really have that original squad, and Clayface kind of got disassembled a bit, and
Yeah, everyone's kind of MIA. Like, everyone's down for the count.
yeah,
Yeah.
Batwing's missing. He's with Azrael.
Yeah, they're both missing. Batwoman's been stabbed and she's been taken by Shiva.
Yeah.
I'm assuming Shiva has pretty much all of them. All the ones that are missing at this point are probably all imprisoned by
I would
her.
assume so.
And it seems like they've taken Batman at the end of this as well. So, because Raz poisons
Double
them.
crosses him.
Oh, it's
Yeah,
poison. Is poison the right word? It's not.
Yeah,
drugs him. He drugs him.
yeah. He hits him with this toxin that shuts Batman down.
Yeah.
And I mean, you can never trust an Al Ghul unless it's Damian, but he's a Wayne, so
And even then, I'm not sure I'd trust Damien.
I trust him more after this Nightwing thing, seeing how petty he can be because he really does love his big brother. Like he cares, but yeah, you don't trust an Al Ghul. Like I did like how Roz said that the Alfred, the
The
butler
Alfred.
is up. He's drugged him, but he's up and turned in early.
Yeah,
So he'll be
taking
fine.
a snooze.
Yeah, so it shows that there is some respect there between Roz and Bruce, that he didn't just outright kill.
Yeah, it doesn't
Alfred.
feel malicious in this sense.
No.
It's like, no, I have to do this to save, my own standing, but I'm going to give you a chance because he says he'd still be aware of everything, and
Right.
he gives him the clue with the remember the shadows.
Well,
Yeah.
It's not.
I'm assuming that's more. I'm assuming that's just giving him his memory back. I'm assuming that's like a keyword.
Well, there's that, but he can't.
Yeah.
So he's basically turned into a zombie, where Batman, he's going to be able to fight and whatnot, but he's not in control. He's running like on a backup, and Bruce is going to be able to witness all this, but he can't stop it. Also, Roz noting how the League came up, how they were the shadows because they could do stuff that the assassins couldn't.
Yeah.
They were the actual true power. I like that. I like that it really did come from Roz, and they are one and
Yeah.
the same.
But
Yeah,
Shiva,
the splinter group, but Shiva, took over.
Took
and went
over.
rogue.
yeah,
Yep.
Shiva's taken them and went rogue, and they've become kind of their own separate entity. Yeah. No, my favorite stuff was definitely the whole like Batman's mind's been wiped to this like multiple times, and probably my favorite line of dialogue in the issue is like, how can I be sure that you've not taken other things from my memory? And Raz goes, you don't. And I'm like, oh.
Well, one of my favorite bits is when Batman's like, "Hey, but you told me this," and he's just like, "Did I? Think about it." And it's like, where were we when I told you that? And you just see the look of understanding and realization on Bruce's face.
I got played.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was definitely the stuff about the memory and the ending, which was proper cliffhanger or orphan. I was going to say Oracle, orphan. Yeah, hell yeah.
Orphanical.
I will say I didn't like. I mean, the art was fine, but it's definitely.
I'm torn on it because I really like the art. I think it's fantastic, but it's tonally out of place with the rest of the book.
It's very different to what we've been getting as well. I think typically
That's the problem.
Yeah.
This feels like when you stick this in the middle of a trade, this is going to stick out.
because when I looked at the first page, I'm like, holy shit, this looks like a '90s comic book. This page.
Yep.
Yeah, it dials it in a little bit after that, but
Yeah.
it's still kind of, like you say, very 90s almost.
It feels, like I say, it's not bad per se. It's just it's so different to what we've been
Yeah,
getting.
that's the thing. It's like I like it, but it doesn't fit with the rest of the run. That it feels like a drastic change, and I'm not sure that's the best thing to do in the middle, especially in the middle of an arc.
And I'm wondering if it's just because you've got your 2 or 3 regular artists. Maybe they're just none of them were ready for the next
Yeah.
issue, and it's just a case of it's what needs to happen.
Yeah.
But it stuck out to me.
It's probably the first time in Rebirth that I've noticed a fill-in artist be so drastically different of what the book has been.
But again, talking about like it's been a year, and we're only just now having our first creative change in terms of like a writer. It's kind of impressive that it's taken a year on these double shipping books to go, what happened?
Yeah. And that's it. It's not that it's bad art individually, because it's not. It's just that it's not what we expect from this story, what we've been expecting from this book.
Yeah.
It didn't bother me as much as it hit you guys. I liked how, as you said, it's going to feel different when you're reading it in trade, but I think that's fine because it's a different kind of issue. It kind of stops all the craziness that's been going on with, they thought it was a Joker attack and it's all just been a diversion. And this, it slows it down so we can get these character beats
I feel
from
like
Roz and Batman.
I feel like it's the wrong art for this issue though. Like I don't know if this art lends itself to the more conversational, let's play mind games with each other kind of stuff that's going on in this one. I feel like this art is maybe is better suited for more like just like an action issue where it's mostly combat.
Like that final 2 pages.
Yeah,
where
like
the atmosphere of that is fantastic.
Like I feel like if you were going to give me an issue that's just nothing but Cass like fighting like all these guys in the sewer, you get this artist for that. That's where they would really excel.
No, I agree.
I got nothing else. It's fine.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the art. I mean, there's that you guys talked about it earlier, where Roz has that grin on his face, and Batman's all hooded in the shadows. So
that's the thing. I did really enjoy it. I think it looks great. It's just I just think it's wrong for this particular issue in this run.
I think I've heard this artist name before. We've talked about them before. I just can't remember where.
Yeah. I don't think
I
it
want
was
to say
Tech.
something like Nightwing, maybe.
Maybe that's feels right.
I think Nightwing. I could be wrong there though.
Yeah.
Mad's looking it up, I think.
But obviously this art's been great. This was definitely the slow down and have some exposition kind of issue though. So I think it's still probably maybe weaker for me on the scale of the arc, just because it's that part of the story. But in terms of what it's doing, in terms of what it's building to, it's still serving everything really well. So.
It was exposition that I liked, though. It wasn't just, oh, here's what you need to know. It was interesting in itself, so that helps.
Oh, yeah. It does.
Yeah.
Yep, he did back to Bloodhaven.
Thought so.
Cool.
And going forward, looks like he's doing Detective. So he's at 55 and 56. Maybe it's like you guys said, it was just someone fell behind and they threw it to him.
So he's got what, 3 in a row then, including this one? All right.
Yep, and he did 950, the prologue. He did some work in there.
All right, okay. Yeah, that was a big one. That was a big one with a lot of stories, yeah.
Yeah, a lot of Bat stuff so far.